How does your family feel about you being a professional wrestler?
Talk about your little guy,
No,
Alex.
man, no, man, you can't make me talk about it. I'm just gonna get all sappy and shit.
We're gonna make you cry. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can't do that to me. You can't do that to me. No, I mean, for anyone that's a parent, like once you have children or a child, like your whole world just changes, right? Nothing is about you anymore. You know what I mean? The only thing you ever think about is your child or your children, no matter what. Were they excited that I was, getting back into it because when I first started, I had no family, I didn't have kids, I had nothing. Now this time around, I have a family, I have a child, and uh, it's tough. Were they excited? No, you know what I mean. They weren't like, "This is great." Like, no, but uh, they were extremely supportive, and they knew that if I didn't do it when I wanted to, that it was just going to be something that would stick with me, that would bother me for the rest of my life. And then after having a child, there would be no way, because he's 5 right now, right? If my kid comes to me when he's 16, 17, 18 years old and says, "Dad, you know, did you live out your dreams? Because you always tell me to, go for your dreams and never stop and do what you really want to do in life." How was I going to be able to look my kid in the face and say, "No, I didn't"? You can't do it. I can't do that. You know what I mean? Because now I'm
Yeah.
telling him to do something that his dad didn't even do. You know what I mean? Like I couldn't live with myself if that was the case. So um, yeah, it's just they're supportive. They're awesome. He's the best. He's my best friend in the whole world. And every time I'm leaving, uh, I call him by, and he's like, "All right, Daddy. Well, I hope you win." Well, I'm just going to train, buddy. Like, I'm not wrestling anybody. I'm just going to training. You know what I mean?
You
Oh, I
got to
hope
win
you win.
training too, Daddy.
Yeah, yeah. You know what I mean? And then every time I'm fortunate enough to bring home a championship belt, he calls them their trophies, right? So they don't stay in my room, they don't stay in the theater room. He takes them and will bring them, and they live in his room. You know what I mean? Those are his trophies. And then it's like, well, Daddy, you need to get a green one or a red one. I'm like, brother, hold up, man. Like, give
It's a
me
lot
a
of pressure,
sec.
son.
Yeah, give me a second. Let me recover from what just happened. I'll work on getting you a different colored one. But until then, you just enjoy this one for the time being. But they're great, man. They're an awesome support system. Um, it's tough being away from them. You know what I mean? As often sometimes as you do. And I know I've seen Roosevelt on shows, and it's awesome that his son is there with him, and he gets to watch his son, his dad, and that's awesome. Owen's not quite there yet. I don't think he'd be able to handle it quite yet. I mean, he's 5, but I think this year is the year. He keeps asking, and he has no problem watching it on YouTube or watching on TV or watching my matches on there. Um, so I think this year might be the year where he gets to finally make some rounds and come to some towns and see Dad wrestle. So that's going to be pretty cool and special.
Now, if he came to you at like 16, 17 and say, "Hey, Dad, I want to train to become a professional wrestler," would you want him to become a wrestler?
Absolutely, yeah. Because again, if that's his dream, right, and that's his passion, and that's what's going to make him happy for the rest of his life, absolutely. You know what I mean? Like, in light of certain things that have happened just like around this world recently, we only get one go around with this thing. You know what I mean? Like, we get one life. That's it. And I think it'd be a real shitty life to sit there when you're 60 years old and sit there and say, "Oh man, if I had just done it, if I had just done this, or if I could go back and do this." Like, I can't tell you how many people, I mean, my own parents alone have sat there and be like, "Alex, I wish I could go back and I could have done this differently, or I wish I would have done this, or I wish I would have done that." to me, that's not a healthy life to live, right? It's not, this wondering and this I wish or what ifs, like that's not life. That's not enjoyable. Life's about you taking the chances and you putting the work in. And if you have a dream and if you have a goal, you literally have to do whatever it takes to try to achieve that. That's living, you know what I mean? Because once you get to that goal, after all the work and after all the trials and tribulations, like you can't tell me there's a better feeling than that, because there's not. When you are able to accomplish a goal that you've set forth for you, that you've always dreamed of doing, and then you do it and it becomes an accomplishment instead of a dream, there's no better thing in the world other than that.
Absolutely.
That's true.